Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Ellen. Now look at these colors. You would think you have a variety of all kinds of colors here, but nope, we're just using two colors today. We have a limited palette with just two colors, ultramarine blue deep and burnt sienna. Creates this really pretty cool like neutral landscape here. And you can kind of see that burnt sienna ends up looking a little brown in some areas, yellow in some areas. And it's just really fun to play with, and it's these two combined are granulating watercolors. It's fantastic. And as you can see up close in the paper, look how it just changes in the paper itself, especially if you're painting on cold press. Hot press, it doesn't quite do it as much. You want to do it on a nice cold press. So if you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section. Patreons get an additional tutorial, a fun little evergreen tree, little card. You can click the link in the description box to be a Patreon member. But without further ado, let's get playing with ultramarine blue deep and burnt sienna. Okay, for this limited palette, we're just going to be using burnt sienna and ultramarine blue deep. You can make a million grays, brown grays, blue grays with those two colors. I have a piece of Arsh 100% cotton cold press paper taped down with some magic tape on cardboard, and we're just going to play with putting in a lovely little neutral landscape. So I'm going to use my Princeton 12 Neptune series brush. I'm going to loosen up some ultramarine blue deep. So right now it's nice and blue. We add the burnt sienna and it's completely changed. Right? I'm going to add a little bit more blue. So that's going to be our beautiful gray. We're going to make some more pretty grays with this, but this could be our sky. Just two colors. See, as you add more blue, it's a blue gray. I'll clean up my brush, and I'm just going to start to put some water here for the sky. See a little sheen we have going here. This will be wet on wet sky. So you put some water on here. You can see the sheen that's happening. And we're going to take this paint and we're just going to make some lovely little sky. Stormy little sky. It's going to kind of go down and fold down in between those little areas that I left white. Just little bands going through right here. And another one here. Look at that. Nice little rays. You can get a tad bit darker up top. I'm getting a little bit darker. Not too dark though. If you want a little bit stormy sky, you always want the darker on the top and lighter on the bottom. I'm cleaning off my brush. Just going to move some of this paint here so it goes down a little bit. And this is our sky. Really simple, kind of beautiful. You can kind of tilt your paper like this. I'm going to add a little bit more color in here. And up in here. Get that stormy sky. I'm just going to fill in that little white area. I really wanted to kind of nice stormy sky. And add a little bit of water here. And that's it for our stormy sky. Right? You can see that the burnt sienna has kind of, the two of them like oil and water, and they separate. So it looks like there's yellow coming through, but it's not. It's just the burnt sienna going right through there, which is kind of sweet. So we're going to just let that settle and sit and let it dry, and then we'll come back and we'll start to paint in our ground. I do want to actually take some of this paint though. I'm just going to come down here a little bit. Go all the way down here, just loosen up. There we go. It doesn't end. There we go. Look at that. Just that alone is just really pretty to put in a frame. I love it. All right, so let's let it dry. Come back. Now it's dry. I'm going to go back in with the same paint. I'm going to add more burnt sienna. Look at that. I'm getting more of a brown tone. Water this down. Remember, it's like a neutral kind of design. And so I'm going to figure like here could kind of be where I'm going to have some land happening. And back here. Right? Gonna put that in. I'm just really loose. The consistency is pretty wet, almost like tea consistency. I'm just going to go in like this and bringing this down a little bit. And filling that in. Just light brownish tone, all created from the lovely burnt sienna, added more into the color we just put in for the sky. This could be like a nice lake, actually. And just leave that like that. It's pretty cool. Right? And we can get a little bit darker. See, we add more paint. And a little bit more pigment. I can start to play with this a little bit. A little bit deeper. Maybe could be some like shadows coming down here. I did want to add some trees, so I'm going to loosen this up a little bit. You can add a little more blue if you want. And we're just going to take the number 12 brush, and we're going to kind of just wiggle this a little bit for some trees. I might take out some more paint and just add more water. Get it loosen. And just see, I'm just kind of wiggling, leaving some space in between, pushing down in some areas and leaving some space. You get a nice tree kind of happening there. I'm going to loosen this up even more. Some more foliage coming here. I figure we could put some nice, even looser foliage. Kind of some trees back here, like bushes. Much lighter. Way back here. See, I'm kind of just wiggling my brush, and you can figure that it could be some bushes back there. Get even lighter still by putting more water in my brush or just lifting some of the paint off of here. Look at that. Really kind of pretty, isn't it? A lot of brown happening. You can add a little bit more blue. Getting more blue in here, so I'm adding more ultramarine blue deep. Let's see what we got here. Some nice bluish type bushes. Kind of evening this out. Smaller. Right? You can add a little blue to this side here. The left side. It's changing that. Lots of fun to play with these two colors. I'm going to grab some more ultramarine blue in here. I'm going to put some tree trunks in a bit. I'm going to add some more blue here. Getting a little bit deeper still very damp. It's a dark, neutral kind of painting. Maybe take the tip of my brush and swipe it up for some grasses. You can even use a liner brush to do that too. I'm going to grab more blue tone here. Just kind of doing some dry brush kind of movement here. And get a little bit darker on this side. It's really kind of fun, isn't it? So I have a liner brush that I love. This is the Princeton Umbria number 4. And I'll take these colors again. And I'll kind of wisp it up the grasses. Can make them gonna go like a little bit darker by adding again more of the same pigments. Ooh, look at that. Wet on wet. It kind of bled in there. Really kind of fantastic. Gotta have fun. You gotta play with color and movement and composition. Some little grasses way up tall here, way up high, way up in the sky. Really fun. While this dries, I can go back and do some of the grasses in here. Right now it's so wet that if I start to do them, as you can see, it's just kind of bleed and kind of be silly. But we can kind of put some of that in there. Right? Why not? I love this liner brush. I go back and grab my 12. I'm gonna make some tree trunks. Maybe get a little thicker with the paint. Blue and the burnt sienna. Blue again. So it doesn't move as much, as you can see. And let's see how this goes. It's still very wet in here. Kind of twisted tree. I'm going to add another tree too, but I think I might have to wait till this part dries. Adding a twisted tree. But I kind of bled that, and I like that. This is a little too wet, so I'm going to wait for that to dry. I'm going to add a little dark color though in here, just to enhance it a little bit. Clean up my brush. Go down here a little bit with the color. Okay, I'm going to wait till this dries because I want to add some more color in here. But while it's drying, I do want to add a little bit deeper color tones to my tree. Let's add some more depth with that. A little bit more blue. That looks almost black, but I'm getting a little more blue in there. Or you can even add some more burnt sienna, which is almost like a red brown. So it's more fallish. It's fun to play with these two colors because they're granulating colors, and when you paint them on a nice wonderful cold pressed paper like this paper, the arch paper, the nice little separation of the colors and these little divots, it's really kind of pretty. So again, I'm tapping a little bit deeper color in the trees. It's changing the tree. Look how cool this looks. Very cool. If it's bothering you, it's a too hard edge, you can kind of squish a little paper towel, kind of twist it, and it'll soften these edges that we just painted. Look at that, a little bit softer. Not as hard. Nice little texture it creates too. All right, I'm gonna let this dry, then come back and do the tree trunk. Okay, so it's dry. I'm going to go back and fill in the disappearing tree trunk that was here. Can add another tree, kind of bending here. Little branches, and I will use my liner brush to create some really cool branches. I can do another one back here. See, we're creating almost like a little forest, but not quite. And we're going to add some foliage back here too. I think it's just too white back here. So I might go in and just loosen up some of this lovely burnt sienna, mix it with a little blue, tap on the paper towel, and kind of add some foliage back here in between. And we'll get these ones even darker still. So, and then grab some more paint, and I'll tippy tap some color in here. And even a little bit more color. So it's starting to make more sense, right? We could do some dry brushing of the colors here. So I'll use a different brush for that. I would use, an 8 long round Velvet Touch series or an 8 round. So we have our lovely blue and burnt sienna. Make that nice neutral gray. And see, I'm gonna create some nice dry brushing. Dry brushing has a nice texture to it. So you're kind of just going like this, wiggling it on the side. Obviously, you don't use a lot of water when you're doing this paint. I'm just going to go like this and wiggle in some lovely little leaves and some more of that foliage. Right? Can kind of wiggle some out here. It's fun to play with dry brush. Wet on wet, getting some more of those two colors. Now they're really even darker still. Go up here, adding some more leaves. See, now you see the foliage looks kind of cool. You can get down here as well on the ground, adding a little bit of some dry brushing happening in the ground area. Kind of down here too as well. You can have it more blue or more brown with the burnt sienna, depending on how you want to do it. Very moody, isn't it? And I'll go and add some dry brushing in here. These little bushes back here that are kind of faint. Just give them some definition. I'm just kind of doing on the left-hand side. Just like so. And you can do the little tippy taps for leaves. If you feel like that they don't seem like they look like they could be foliage. It's up to you. Dry brush. Very, very moody, right? Now this is very light. I will kind of go in here with the color because I just feel like it's so light compared to the sky, right? It should be a little stormy. Just want to finish the tree trunk over here. And I'll add some branches. Another tree branch. And we'll take our liner brush, again with those two colors, the blue and the burnt sienna. And we'll do some branches. A little bit thicker with the paint. Some areas can be thin. It can kind of peek through up top. Peeking through the tree a little bit. Skinny ones down the bottom. Happening. Branches. Again, thicker with the paint. Boom. I kind of flick my brush out a little bit to create those lovely branches. And we can do some little twigs kind of happening, and some grass down here. I know that can be the darker color, or you can get some more of the burnt sienna and have that lovely grass, brown grass happening over the blue areas. Play around with that. This one's a nice dark one right there. It's nice to get a different color tone with it too. This one's a little bit darker. And get little grasses here. Don't overdo it with the grass. All right, we're just about done. I do want to clean up a little bit and add some blue to our lovely little lake area. So ultramarine blue deep, of course. The two colors. More on the bluish gray tones. Watering them down. Very thin, like tea. We'll add a little bit of the gray going across this little pond. Just kind of wiggle it. And then leave the rest lighter. You can add a little bit thicker color so it's reflecting. So here's that darker color. A little bit darker. The bush is kind of reflecting in here. Right? And then I'll just take a few more little lines kind of going this way and call it a day on that water. Here it's a little too light. I'm just going to go right over that. Makes sense, doesn't it? And look how cool this came out. Very stormy, kind of beautiful. I'm add some foliage here. Tippy tap. And we have this beautiful monochromatic, well, in a way, monochromatic, even though we're using two different colors instead of just one. It's a very neutral kind of design. The little lake. Kind of pretty, isn't it? And go back out here. I'm going to add a little bit deeper tone to my little bushes that are out here. And that's our neutral palette. I'm going to add a little bit more foliage, kind of come up in here, one over here. You can add another tree in there. Like right down here is a little damp, but I'll get the paint really thick. The blue and the burnt sienna. And I'm just going to make a little kind of twiggy kind of tree here. You want a variety. Put some little twiggy trees. And back here. And way in the back. I'm adding in just a few more little twiggy type trees. So it's almost like a forest in there. And that's it. You just maybe you want to add a few more grasses up front. whatever, a fence could be kind of cool. Just like that, or remove the tape. See what we have revealed for our two colors. Just slowly reveal it. This tape works great. Some people say they have issues with it, but I think it's fine. That's that with our two color beautiful sky. Now I'm not loving these kind of bushes here. You want to grab a sea sponge. I'm gonna mix up some more paint. Sea sponge, they're great for all kinds of stuff, and use that for little teeny leaves. That could work great too. And smush down a little bit. You can add some of that up in here, and of course I would do that before the tape comes off. But I think it's a lot of fun. So let me know your thoughts. I hope you enjoy this. If you're a Patreon, you get the additional extra one. If you want to be a Patreon member, click the link in the description box below. But other than that, I hope you enjoyed the two color simple landscape, just playing with the two colors, wet on wet, and seeing how it comes out. You can do like a million variations with these two colors. I hope you had fun. Take care, and I'll speak to you soon.